This is one of the many wildflower fields here at High Ash Farm, Cases St Edmund. It's a 40-hectare field, that's 100 acres in old money, and it is absolutely thriving. It was sown in 2006 and is now fully mature. We cut and remove all this year's growth at the end of the season. Before we do that, we thrash it with a hay tedder to knock all the seed off onto the ground, so the whole wildflower field replicates itself every year. And just before I leave this field, I've already looked at some of the orchid species here. Something's caught my eye and made me smile. I'm walking through yellow rattle in front of me, which is a parasite on grassland, and there's a lovely patch of pyramidal orchid here now coming up. We'll get close to one of them. There we are. If I just part the oxeye daisy, you can see the beauty of this pyramid shaped orchid. Everybody gets fascinated by orchids, and this one has a few surprises up its sleeve. Firstly, it doesn't smell sweet and perfumed like the fragrant orchid, which also grows in this field. This one, the only way you can describe it, smells of foxwee. And that's to attract bees and flies to pollinate with it. It's the county flower of the Isle of Wight as well, and each bloom can produce about 80,000 seeds. Just amazing. Little bee just arrived on the bird's foot trefoil behind it. I'm just going to stand up because pyramidal orchids usually only grow to about 20 to 30 centimeters tall, and on High Ash Farm I think we've got king of the pyramidal orchids this year. This one, I'm just going to move the oxeye daisy slightly out of the way. This one is 2 feet tall. It is absolutely giant. Just a few leaves right down at the bottom of the stem, a good 600 millimeters up the stem. It's obviously growing on something very, very fertile, and up to the top, here we go. That is what you call a pyramidal orchid and a half, I think. Just makes me smile. And then something, before I leave, something else caught my eye. Just stand up. There are bees everywhere. The sound is just, there's no other sound other than what I can hear, which is bumblebees flying around. And I just walk down here because there's some fragrant orchids there, fairly common species. We also have early purple orchids growing in the woodland at High Ash Farm. And this just coming up, there's lots of sand falling. The pH of the soil is very high here, it's 7.8, which suits this grassland orchid species. And I'm just going to go down on my hands and knees. No, I'm not praying. And get closer and closer and closer if I possibly can. And there in front of us is one of my favourite orchid species of all. It's called the common spotted orchid, but to me there's nothing common about it whatsoever. It's a beautiful, very demure, stunning plant, just swaying about in the breeze which we've got today. It's in full flower at the moment, and the petals, the upper petals, are almost cream white, and then a little bit lower down the base petals have honey guides on them, and they're arranged in little circles of purple and pink just to attract the bees in to pollinate with it. Again, it's a common spotted orchid. If I just part the grass a little bit, it's quite a large plant at the base. You can see the leaves down near the base here. They're a good 6 inches across, and quite a lot of them are spotted as well, so that's why it's called the common spotted orchid. But I absolutely love it. And as you go up the stem, this particular one is about 12 inches, about a foot tall. And this particular one, the leaves actually grasp the side of the stem as it goes up. And then let's just have another quick look at that flower, because I'm almost tearful looking at that. The beauty and the sophistication and the colours of it are mind-blowing. I'm a millionaire in flowers. There's lots of noughts in my bank account, but I think we've got to put one in there somewhere. That that is absolutely priceless. And as a bonus, there's at least a dozen skylarks flying round me. I'm being serenaded at the same time.